socialistic economy, there's rules. It says you need to pay her X amount of rev share.
What you're saying is not true.
Okay.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you want a social democracy, which kind of exists, and market regulation exists under capitalist formations, and plenty of capital owners hate that. As a matter of fact, I would say universally capital owners hate any kind of market regulation, which is why they choose to erode it as best as they possibly can.
That doesn't even make sense. That's not even true. Hassan, that is in contradiction with both reality and your earlier stated position. Regulatory capture and the idea of enforcement of things of the government is actually one of the things that large companies can enjoy at a great level. There's a reason why Amazon willingly set their wages to $15 an hour without the government having to push it. You can argue that there are rents, that there are forms of...
Wait, hold on. Let me refresh this for you. Oh, God.
Amazon willingly set their wages to $15 an hour without the government having to push it. You can argue that there are rents, that there are forms of regulatory capture where big companies actually love these types of regulations because these types of regulations can force out smaller competitors. This doesn't even, but you know this, Hassan, because I'm pretty sure you were just arguing earlier that a lot of this regulatory capture is something capitalist organizations push for, that firms and businesses try to enact in the government. So he's like in direct contradiction with shit that even he stated earlier in this conversation.
I would say universally capital owners hate any kind of market regulation, which is why they choose to erode it as best as they possibly can, or they use it to their advantage to create an artificial barrier of entry into certain sectors.
Oh, he just, okay, that's good. He got this over. All right. Vosh ran, early ran. Cut the stream there, August. Don't let him show that.
I'm saying in a socialist economy.
Also, there's also an argument to be made that there has been international research done. Firms do prefer to operate out of countries where the cost of labor is higher and there's stricter enforcement of like labor laws and stuff, as opposed to other countries where you might have cheaper labor, but the country is less stable due to strife, revolutions, expropriation, the government going crazy, blah, blah, blah. So firms do appreciate some form of, I'll say regulation. It's not really that they prefer the regulation. What they really prefer is the stability that regulation tends to bring. That is true.
There's going to be laws.
Wait,
It's
stealth
just
is
like there are laws
successful?
in a capitalist
It's
economy
asking you
and capital
in
owners.
socialism how I'm saying the government is telling you how much you need to pay the janitor.
That's not how that would work.
Then how would it work?
It would be government.
Isn't that how is that functionally different than minimum wage?
Okay.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Why
Okay,
do they?
well then-
well,
So
why
I
do,
think-
but socialism is much more radical. We're
It's
talking
not.
social.
It doesn't have to be.
Moving
I think it's-
America,
It doesn't
moving
have
America
to be.
to a purely socialistic society.
Yeah, no problem.
My thing is, I think social democracy is better than socialism. And you guys are explaining something that to me sounds a lot like something that we can already do without this huge
Yes.
undertaking
Yes.
of changing our economy from
Yes.
a capitalistic social democracy one to a socialism one. You're talking about a minimum wage. We already do that, and we can already do better with that via regulations.
But,
So why
the reason why we haven't been able to is because, like, I think the best way to explain it is this way, okay?
Okay.
You like capitalism with socialist characteristics. I like socialism with capitalist characteristics.
Yo, you just said that.
What does that mean? What?
So we're both social
So
democrats.
that doesn't mean that I
What's the
no. I
difference?
still believe the government
Wait,
should
what's the
be.
difference now? You
the
said you like
difference-
socialism with
The difference
capitalism.
is no. I said I like socialism
Yeah.
with capitalist characteristics, meaning that the governing the governing.
does Shadowheart just, like,
economy,
get
like, the entire
fear?
economy still revolves around a socialist mode of production, where the owners, the workers are the
This
owners.
is
They own
always
production.
prepared?
They have a say in their benefits. They have a say
Damn,
in
what
happens
the
in the
fuck?
company. Well, there will still obviously be protections against like unjust firings and whatnot.
Dude, Shadowheart's got some fire shit. Like, just always prepared. Like, Sacred Flame is a nice cantrip because you could just, it goes off dexterity. So you have like an options between that and Fireball. And then like the Mirror Image is a great spell. This Invoke Duplicity is excellent. Charm Person's obviously like OP. Fear is like a really good spell. I forget what she gets later. These like stealth checks ones just feel like what is the what's even the you and nearby companion. Yeah, that's like how close. Where's the ring? Where does it end? Yeah, Shield of Fate just isn't that good. Like, it's good that it's a bonus action, but like so is this. And like, who cares? Like, if you like waste your bonus action, sometimes like, it's not that big of a deal. Or you can use it to like jump or shit like that. Because honestly, like I think Shadow Art is really good with just like bless. And you just bless your like melee guys or whatever. I actually don't even want to use Mind Flayers on Karlach. I don't know if I talked to her yet or whatever, but... Oh wait, I only even get one hit this turn anyway. I don't know why I'm like caring about this. Oh, holy shit, I stunned him? Oh no, I don't. Never mind. Oh wow, I got the stun and the ensnared. On the one hit, that was really fucking good. That was wild. Hazel, you're gonna just stay there. I think there's 2 more groups of guys by the entrance, and then, like, that's everybody. It's the entire Kretch. Oh, we're already... Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Why did he dash? Oh, they're like trying to surround him? What the fuck is this shit? He's still ensnared. I'm just gonna go for another stun. Saved stun strike. We're gonna go for it again. Damn, dude, that must be infuriating. Holy shit. Oh, Crown of Madness. Okay, well, she's playing for my team right now. No, don't hit her. Stop. Dude, 2 more turns. Oh, god, dude. Who's even casting it? Is it this guy over here? He's gonna like opportunity attack me. Is he? Oh, he's not. Okay. Yeah, you like saved. Yeah, I think we can do this. Oh, concentration broken. Okay. Oh, Lizelle. Okay. Did Lizelle use action surge while she was like whatever? Oh no, I still have it. I'll keep it.
and there should be certainly.
There are now.
And there are now as well. Except
Really good.
America is a great example
In
of.
California, there are really.
America is a great example, however, of like how there aren't.
Which how it shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the reason why it's not that way is because we have capitalism with like laughable socialist characters.
Dude, that's,
we don't
I
even have
find
any
it very
socialist characters.
interesting that you're saying you want socialism with capitalist characteristics.
Capitalist characteristics in the sense that it doesn't touch the means of production or the mode of production, but offers an abundance of resources and offers the idea that you have freedom. One of the major problems with former historic socialist projects has always been commodity production being streamlined on necessity and not necessarily silly things like lighter production, industries that revolve around making, I don't know, chocolate and coffee. Coffee was a major problem in East Germany. So like things of that nature that people need, I think those are things that we need to work on. And that capitalism, I think, has done a much better job at offering to people, and that has a very sedating influence on the masses. Consumerism.
I don't see what's so great and humanizing about hiring a janitor for 0.0000015% of the company.
What do you? I don't understand. That's not what I said. You just made that assertion.
But we're saying there's a minimum wage. There's a minimum equity share that janitor would need to get.
Well, are you talking about in comparison to doing
we're talking
profit
about a
sharing
socialist
model?
minimum wage.
Right. But comparing it to a model where employees are cut in on the profit is what you're saying. Comparing that, what we have now to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I would just point out that, so first of all, you would talk about it a lot earlier about like, well, what companies do that? There's a lot of examples of bigger firms that do this kind of thing.
Okay.
He said
a great one is Southwest Airlines. Did you know that they have a massive employee profit sharing model?
How does it work? What's the details?
So it's a once a year payment, and they look at how they did the last year, and then a certain percentage of the profits they distribute as bonuses to all of the employees. And it's fairly significant.
Dude, that's great. Like in a socialist
Then they can do that. Then let them do that. They can do that. That's great then.
country, that's it? That's all you want? Because that's easy. You know what I mean? Like what are you asking for when you're asking for socialism? Just a bonus fund based on profit? Because that's easy.
No, not necessarily, but listen, I wasn't trying to make any assertion about that. I was just trying to give you an example of, you were asking earlier,
Oh my
like what
God.
companies do that.
I think that's
Here's a
awesome.
big one that does it.
I think that's awesome. And I'd even be in favor of regulating that and saying, yo, you need to put aside like 5% or 10% or whatever, I don't care, of your profits to distribute evenly amongst your employees. Is that socialism?
No,
Is that all it takes?
that would be some aspect of socialization, especially if it's like earned by the workers that have some level of collective bargaining.
It just seems so bureaucratic. I don't understand the workplace. in the
Bureaucracy
world.
still is very much at the foundation of a bourgeois state as well. It's
But
just that we
dude,
don't think
I'm
about
talking like, this is bureaucracy on bureaucracy on bureaucracy.
it. No,
I don't
see the
understand
difference.
your workplace.
I'll tell
'Cause
you
if
this
that's
much.
not good enough, then what is? I
Here.
don't understand.
There is, I think it's called People's Republic of Walmart. It's a really good book. And so like
title?
there was a genuine problem in the USSR with
Oh,
how
this
to
is
deal with
Poland,
crops
okay.
and agriculture. And central planning, unfortunately, had limitations at the time because we did not have the computational power. One of the
I was. Oh, I'm good. Hey, what's up? We are just destroying the Githyanki crutch and watching Destiny videos.
ironically, like steps in the right direction was actually coming from Chile, which then got their own 9/11 50 years ago. But we won't get into that because socialism bad.
Yeah, we're doing.
but,
what's it called? I'm doing this like the hardcore run or whatever the fuck. Well, at least this is all I've been streaming recently. Yeah, I mean, if you look at my VODs and shit, that's like the only thing in there. But yeah, I'm mostly doing it because it's like a hardcore run and shit. And with like a hardcore run, you need like proof that you didn't load state or whatever the fuck. Because like, obviously I could literally just like click the load button whenever the fuck. And then like the entire run is like void. Yeah, this game's really fun. You should get it. If you ever played D&D or whatever, I would definitely recommend it, like even more so. United States. Actually, do I want to get these guys? I think there's like 2 rangers up here. Wait, what? How do they see me? Was I not stealthed? This ranger's gonna be really fucking annoying. Oh wait, no. There's one up here. How do you get to the one up here? Oh, there's a ladder all the way back here. Oh man, this fight is like not good for marshals. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna back up and hope they just come to me. Because I don't want to give these guys high ground advantage. No, I just stream like whenever, like I'm off right now for like the next week or so, and I've just been streaming just because, what's it called? I'm trying to do this challenge run. I'll definitely stream significantly less when I go back to work. Dude, why is this game so fucking buggy? What the fuck? Are you serious? I can't shoot through the fucking door? It's open. I mean, I just like play video games and shit, to be honest. Yeah, it's like this for everything. I could dash. Ooh, don't do that. Oh, okay. There we go. Like, at least I can get a hit. Parried is whatever, I don't care. I might even just do this. No, we can do this. We'll leave it open.
There wasn't enough computational power. to implement centralized planning at that time effectively, and it led to plenty of issues, right? So, ironically, nowadays we have centralized planning inside of Walmart, inside of Amazon, and these companies are generating a ton of revenue that they could cut their workers into. Maybe they would be much smaller. Maybe they would be much smaller.
What's the
in
minimum
size.
that would make it socialist? That's what I'm curious about.
I don't think there's like an exact dollar value, rather than, because you're looking for an exact dollar value, rather than I'm talking.
Hold on. Somebody donated Crow Bag Man. Hassan has never worked a real job. It's embarrassing lack of experience.
We've got more.
We've got force loaded.
Talking about an entirely different way of thinking.
But there's the law. There's a law in a socialist country that says you must do.
I'll
things.
give you one example. I'll give you
I mean, I don't really care about
right?
like growing my channel
Right now,
or anything.
You have Cam, right? Cam does wonderful goof scaps and Photoshop.
Flash, we love Cam.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and
Let's give it up for
and
Cam. Let's give it up for
We
Cam real
love
quick.
Cam.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Love you guys.
So, technically, if you were interested in
Stop!
maximizing your
Hold
revenue,
up. Sorry. Whoa. What? We've got 2 minutes? We're on a strong run? Hold up. Hold up. Drama Frog's out. We don't do politics here. This is a Force and 24/7 reaction stream. He's set up. Okay, we just need a good perch.
sorry. For I don't know, get
This man. Generating God Seed generated Dream Seed.
what you could have done instead of hiring Cam was outsource it to Fiverr, or I don't know, get like some Filipino graphic design company. If you were one of those like TikTok guys out there who's like, I fired my entire workplace and like fucking hired everyone in Pakistan for 5 cents an hour. It's fucking sick. Like you could be one of those guys and do that. But the reason why you didn't do that is because you feel as though correctly that Cam
no.
yields better output. Hey, no.
Chewing?
She almost.
I don't know you at all.
No. No.
Alfredo, you gotta enforce the law on her.
No.
Alfredo has no interest.
Alfredo, you have a monopoly on violence
Go.
in this
Get
office.
Sorry.
It's okay. A welcome.
Welcome to
A welcome break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please continue.
So don't do that, and there should be restrictions on that. Certainly, like there should be restrictions on being able to do that. Being able to just like completely outsource your workplace. Those restrictions can come in a capitalist country in the form of tariffs, which many do. Protectionist trade or protocols exist globally, with the exception of the United States of America, which has some protectionist policies, but others that most protectionist policies still benefit the interests of capital rather than the working class there. And trade partnerships have created a structure where like labor has been outsourced overseas. Our manufacturing capabilities have been completely outsourced. These are very bad things that exist exclusively due to greed that you understand under capitalism that needs to constantly be put in check. But a government that is designed, a government that's full of rich people, that is interested in their own wealth and wealth accumulation, that has stock options and trades like Paul Pelosi, and has that gets jobs for their family members in Goldman Sachs like Ted Cruz and many other examples, is never going to truly represent the interests of the working class, and is always going to put the interests of capital ahead of the interests of the working class. You will never be able to have a real democracy. That's the difference between a bourgeois democracy and a proletarian democracy, or a dictatorship of the proletariat, rather than a dictatorship of the capital owning class.
I just want to know how the socialist workplace works. It seems so nebulous when you talk about it.
It is.
Why is it? I don't think it's nebulous at all. I have a living, breathing, working example of it that I've given you.
No,
I know,
not
but
really.
like, there's got to be like a constitution that says outlines, or I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to write, right? There's got to be something, and it says like, or rule laws. It says, this is the minimum that a person should get from a company.
Yes.
And
It
what
should
would
be
that-
married to the
it'd be-
output. It should be married to the productive forces. It should be married to the output. That should be pegged
We talked
to,
about this enough, though. I don't
that
want to bore
should be
people.
pegged to the performance. And I think that is the best possible way to work.
I guess my problem on that is like, how could you possibly?
Enforce that.
No, not even enforce. How could you possibly even analyze that? Like, how much more? How
that's
much more
where we go.
money are we making because the janitor comes?
That's
in?
where we go to the Walmart example. That like we are already completely aware of that. We have we have actuaries, we have CPAs that are working in real time, making mathematical equations to figure out exactly what not to pay people technically. And they could be in a
What's the different
totalist
signs of
social
paying people?
reorganization of the economy with a socialist dogma.
Okay, so
would
there's-
work in the opposite direction.
Okay.
It's kind of like this.
Please, let's move to another topic.
Okay,
I don't want to bore people.
Well, wealth was one aspect of this, right? Like, we already have property taxes, for example, in America, but we never make similar mathematical equations on capital gains. earnings that you make in the stock market. Wealth accumulation could work in the exact same way as property taxes, and yet we don't have any mathematicians working on that.
That's a good idea, but
and that's a great idea, right?
People probably do that in a lot of countries that aren't socialist.
Well, this is not just the distinction between socialism
But that's
and whatnot.
okay.
Because we talked about
But I
theory.
think that-
We talked a lot about theory, but then we also have to talk about like what is possible, right? At least in the
That's true.
short term. And that is the reason why I always try to tell more rugged, more rigid, more
Nice.
passionate socialists
That's where I'm coming from.
to
though.
cooperate. I know, to cooperate with people that are also perceived as radicals in America. Like, there's a reason why Bernie Sanders, who has been a socialist his entire life, basically has only implemented, instituted, or advocated for social democratic reforms in the United States of America. That's it. That's the only. The only reason why he's done that is so that he can inspire the masses and create an opportunity where workers have more control over their own lives and develop autonomy and inevitably develop.
Wait. I don't know what the fuck this means. Mod.
Class consciousness, creating ample opportunity for
There's so many buzzwords.
believing that sort of
Oh
thing.
my God.
Socialist revolution.
Right, but that would never happen if the people were happy with their conditions. I feel like that would not happen. But anyway, so let me ask you this, to peg this down even more. In a socialist workplace, a socialized workplace, certain jobs are still going to get paid more than others, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh shit. Yeah.
So there's still going to be class. There'll be class, right? There'll be class distinctions in a socialist.
No, the class distinction is not on pay. That's a
No.
Class distinction
liberal
is on
understanding. That's actually
You don't
why
think people be like,
relationship to ownership
I see people like you're the rich
of
dude in the
production.
Porsche, and I'm the working class dude in the
Great
Toyota.
question. Great question.
You don't think people will see that?
So social hierarchies are inevitable. There will be different kinds of hierarchies. What you're talking about is perfectly valid. But the class distinction in a socialist economy is completely abolished, because the idea is that there will be those who have and those who have not, is what you're saying, at least in the interim.
Everyone will have,
But
but there'll be
everyone
people
will
that have
have,
more.
exactly.
People who have a lot more.
Yes, some people that want to have more will be
Will
able
have a
to
lot
have more, and even a lot more. Yes, this is why I
And they'll be
always.
part of a class. don't
This
you
is
think?
why I always talk about because
Dude,
they have no control over the lives of others in that regard.
I find
I don't know why Hassan just said the class in a Marxist sense is your relationship to the means of production. So a class, like your class, would be like you're a
Oh,
worker. That means there's a capital owner that owns the capital that you work, that makes money off of the land or capital that you work. That's the only class. in a
Actually, I don't even need to do
executive.
that.
This
We
is
can
not
just
like
do this.
Rich, poor,
Just
whatever.
walk around.
this idea that like people in a socialist
He
country
doesn't know though. Hassan knows this. I think he's either stressed or not giving the right answer.
who have a lot more, they're able to make a lot more money, somehow won't be influenced by power or influence or greed. That somehow in this society
You're saying no
it's
matter what
magically
happens, it
dispelled.
will turn into capitalism. Is what you're saying?
I think
there will be
well, these people are going to be influencing the
a
system to
concentration of
benefit
power.
themselves.
Yes. The best way to stop that from happening is democracy. Democracy in the workplace, we cannot even imagine. Mark Fisher once said, it's easier to imagine the end of the world than to imagine the end of capitalism. And he was right. This is capitalist realism. Because
No.
we are having this argument within the boundaries and within the cultural understanding of like existing capitalism today. And the reality is, we have no way, you and I, as it stands, I have no way of like helping you try to imagine a world where like each individual worker has more autonomy.
You just
and does not suffer
infinitely
daily
parry
in
me?
their workplace,
You don't
which
think-
would offer them plenty of more educational opportunities, plenty more free time. I guess the example
Carly,
you
get
can
the
point
fuck
to
out of the way.
in terms of different degrees of
cuddled up in
socialization
here.
would be a person doing contracted work at Uber, okay, to make ends meet in America, versus like a regular unionized factory worker in Germany. The level of autonomy that they have, and the level of interest that they have, and the level of engagement that they have in a workplace democracy or some form of it is drastically different than the contracted Uber employee. Their worldview is drastically different. Their democracy yields drastically different results as a consequence.
But let's
of
be
that.
realistic. We're not going to spring into an alternate reality where capitalism doesn't
We're not.
dominate the
Which
world.
is why
We have to be realistic.
I always advocate
Which is
for.
part of why I'm saying.
No, but
social
that's why I always
democracy
advocate
is better.
for. That
It's
is
more
why I always
realistic.
advocate for, in the interim, social democratic reforms that will yield more opportunities for
Dan, are you
that will yield
so-
more opportunities for workers to organize. Now, of
So,
course,
hold on.
you can prove you can
I want
point
to follow.
it and
I
say,
want to follow this out a little
Okay.
further because I think it's interesting. So, in a socialist country, there's going to be people who make a lot more, and within a company, are they exploiting the workers? The CEO, the founder of a car company, he makes a lot more than the workers.
as
Is
long
their
as,
labor
as
exploited?
long as it is democratically organized in the sense that like every single person is like, no, your productive output in this circumstance is significantly higher than us, then yeah, that would be
And how do they
valid
determine that?
through a
They do like
democratic process.
They have like a
after-
vote for everybody in the company has equal ballot power.
Depending on like how long you've worked at the company and things of that nature. These are different formations at this point. Like, this is now we're getting into like how do we
Whole
organize
person.
our
Okay, yeah,
workplace and like how much
yeah.
power do we give each individual vote in the workplace? Yes,
Not
they would have one
really.
vote, but ultimately, what are the matters that they are tasked with voting on? And there's a like even in unions, there's a structure, right? Like every single person does have a vote. The rank and file will always vote, but there's still a negotiations committee. There's still someone engaging in the contract negotiations.
say this.
There's still elections being held inside of the union. Does that make sense?
It does.
And-
But here, does this make sense?
Yeah.
You're inside of, and I want to ask you, Dan, because I'm curious about your opinion. You're inside a big company. Let's just say they make cars. The CEO, founder, he makes a lot more than the employees. Do you think that the leaders should make more than the workers? Dan?
Well, it just kind of depends on. I mean, I think there's nuance there because I think
Yeah.
it really depends on what the company looks like, how it operates. Should the CEO who
This
is
guy's almost
on a
dead.
day-to-day basis working and managing
Maybe
a
we
company
killed that guy.
make more money?
It works the same hours as the production people.
I mean, with more responsibility, I think should inherently come with some more privilege. However, I mean, now are we talking about a CEO or are we talking about an owner? Because a lot of owners don't do shit.
No, I'm talking about someone who's working because the
Right.
idea of ownership is probably different in a socialist.
Right, and the owners may be private or even maybe
Not
a
the
public
owner,
company. And
the CEO. So you agree he should make more. So let's
depends.
so let's
It
call
depends.
It just
You're-
depends. Yeah.
there's not room for more. You can't, there's just not.
What do you mean there's not
If you're
room?
living in a socialist country, this shit needs to be like laid out. Like there's not room for
Just
nuance.
like-
where
but-
in every workplace
No, just like
we're going to
there is-
decide
just
little
like there's
different rules
nuance
for everything.
under capitalism where you have the freedom to
No, but
fucking
there's
operate in
rules,
that
like
regard.
minimum wage.
But with rules, exactly, you would have the similar structure pegged to like.
I'm trying to ask you guys what
pegged
the
to
rules, like,
worker
keep saying these
compensation,
nebulous
like a maximum
answers.
wage tied directly to your lowest paid
This is
employee.
what I wanted to say though. Let's say
Do you hear what I said?
I did.
Maximum wage tied to like there could be a situation where like a maximum wage could be implemented under a socialist structure to ensure that every single workplace has at least a maximum
I
wage that is
understand.
directly tied to the lowest paid worker and their full-blown compensations and benefits package they
Okay,
get.
let's just go back to so the CEO he earns more. He has more responsibility. Oh, Hassan, you said
I don't
he make
agree
a
with
lot
that
more.
either. No. I don't agree with CEOs having more responsibility or should earn more for the record.
What?
What? You just said
No.
that they should.
If you're
The
an
dude has the
owner
Porsche.
operator,
The
if
dude
you're
with
an
the
owner
Toyota.
operator and you're literally fucking. I was talking to Dan about this earlier before you got here, but it's like the difference between what you do and the difference between like let's say a jewelry designer is that a jewelry designer can outsource their fucking labor, but you are the main product here, which is why
Which
it's
is why
very
I'm
hard for
using
you
a
to see it.
different- I'm using a different example.
Yeah.
Like
So if you're a fucking jewelry designer and you are responsible for all the beautiful designs in your jewelry that's like super competitive, everybody loves it, everyone wants to buy your fucking jewelry,
Right.
you can still hire other people like designers to help benefit that process
and in this
and make
perfect
better
democratic
jewelry.
workplace
Okay.
where everyone
Very
is
nice.
altruistic.
Yes.
They both say the CEO should make more money than us.
Yes. Well, the way that works would be
Oh, 'cause
slowly
I'm
but surely
blind.
as you bring on more people into your company or as you expand and you grow, okay, in a democratic capacity, you are taking away the earnings that you have right now and eroding it because you're giving it to some people that are coming in because you think that they're valuable enough to be able to be paid that way. But That process is being democratically voted on, and ultimately, you know that you're doing that because you're, in your understanding, later down the line, if you care about this sort of thing, you're going to make even more money. Or rather,
money should be a motivator.
Money should not be a motivator. You're right.
Why does
in my situation,
why
it's
does
not.
the CEO care if his company makes more money? He's not going to make more money.
No, it's in the long term, you are creating more stability this way because you understand that every expansion of your productive output, okay, every single piece of expansion on your productive output yields better long-term stability and more money if that's what you're fucking motivated by. But ultimately, that's not the main motivator, and it should not be the main motivator
I think
anyway.
that's a horrible thing to say if you're considering socialism, that money's a motivator. That's like
I think some
that's
people,
like almost like taboo. I feel like.
No, don't worry
Did
about
I
what
just-
other people say in this situation or what you think people will perceive from what I'm saying.
Let me go back.
Because
There's a
that
point I wanna
part's
make.
irrelevant.
Okay, so let's say in a world. Where the CEO makes more money. Do you think it's a possible or even likely situation that the heads of these companies who make more money are going to want to influence the government and their workers to vote or support legislation that gives them more money or more influence? Is that a likely outcome?
Wait, can you ask that again? Sorry,
And
I
within
saw
a
comments
huge-
saying you were rectangular.
Why
and
is
it
he all the
fucked
way
my
back
grammar.
there?
I think that I think that yes, and I think that speaks to what Hassan was saying. I think that's what it speaks to what Hassan was saying earlier about why a lot of Marxists have criticism of social democracy, that lack of elimination of the capitalist profit motive part of the economy will naturally result in what you're
that's
saying.
my point. So thank you, Dan. In socialism, the money motive it's literally it's not compatible. It doesn't work because you're going to have people at the top who are going to want more. They're going to want more influence. They're going to want more power. They're going to want more money. And they are going to exert their influence, their status. Even if they don't make more money, they have status.
Yeah,
For sure.
they're going to
be able to influence
Socialism
it.
is not egalitarian in the sense that there's
You see
like
what I'm saying, Dan?
full-blown
There's a
equity.
problem here.
Socialism does not.
Socialism only exists when you remove the money motive, right? Dan?
Socialism and the way we understand socialism, yes, the money motive is. Now we're talking about.
That doesn't seem
Now we're
like
talking
something
about.
Oh my God! How is this so bad at it? He can't even explain it on the side. The money motive can still exist in socialism. You can be a socialist company that's more successful than another socialist company, and higher people in that socialist company are going to earn more money than
Actually,
the
I'll just
company.
do this.
The difference, though, is your relationship to your actual means of production. When you go and work for a company, you have an equity owner stake. That doesn't mean you've got the same voting power as everybody else. It doesn't mean you've got the same equity stake as everybody else. It just means that when you go to a company and you work, and the fruits of your labor
It's impossible for
increasing the
Zelda
value of
to
that
die,
company,
right? I'm pretty
you
sure
are
that's
directly
true.
benefiting from the increase of the fruits of your labor because you have an equity stake in the company. Now, you might be a really good artist and you go work for a better cooperative, or you go work for a better company that is making more money for all of the employers, or all of the employees. Well, employees and employers, you're kind of one of those things. But like that's the whole point. Like you can still make more money in a quote-unquote market socialist environment. That's totally fine. You can make more money in that environment. You can make more money than other employees in that environment. None of this is inherently contradictory. I don't know how else I can't explain any of this. Jesus.
You want to
Voting
do
it.
You don't want to remove the money motive.
Because I'm in the middle ground where I'm talking about like what
You're a social
realistic.
democrat.
No, I'm not. I'm talking
Sounds
about.
like you are.
I'm talking about the realistic short-term period because I don't live in that. I don't live with that.
I
operational
agree that if we
basis
lived in
myself.
listen,
But I know that other people
live,
can't do that for the time being.
If we could just teleport into a utopian Star Trek world where money doesn't exist and everybody's equal, yeah, everybody would love that. But let's talk about real shit.
I am talking about real shit.
Well, that's that's all I'm trying to do too.
Which is why I'm giving you an example of like the interim period of moving towards socialization or social, a socialist transition.
I
state.
agree with that.
But the problem is when I describe that, you say, well, that's not socialism. I'm like, yeah, I know. Money being a motivator for certain
I'm
people.
saying once you move to socialism, the system, in my opinion, falls apart. It doesn't work because it falls to the same trappings. Because
Oh, I
people that
have
want
to
more power,
jump?
they want more influence. You're going to have capitalistic parties, thank you, Lena,
Oh.
that are going to want influence. You're
And-
going to have these external
Yes,
forces that want that freedom,
You're
that want
saying
that
there will always
individualism.
be, even in a democratic
Please.
organization,
And
in
I
the
believe
workplace,
the
there will
best
be
that
people
we
that make
can
more, right? That's
I
what
believe
you're
the best that we can do
Yeah.
is provide laws and regulations that guarantees people a fair, equitable life.
Let me ask you
Within those rules, I believe if you're operating within those rules, then you can do and make however much money as you want. If you're operating the rules with a super progressive tax rate and everybody's provided for. Because if you want to move to a socialist system, I don't think that system actually works.
So the cultural differences that we
it doesn't make sense.
differences that we see in countries that are still capitalist but social democratic versus countries like the United States of America that are hyper individualistic and have like very very little social democracy is the argument that I'm making, is that with more social amenities and with higher degrees of socialization, people's attitude towards money and money making becomes drastically different.
Status
There are
is important,
different,
though.
there are different
Like a
motivators.
sandwich
Yes, status can be an important thing, but that
That can be-
social hierarchy designed around status has nothing to do with the productive output and has nothing to do with like your material reality. It has the capacity to change like the way people perceive you. It's like an attractive person versus like someone who is maybe not as aesthetically pleasing, right? Those things are going to exist. Like there's always going to. socialism
But
doesn't
we
mean,
literally
like, LeBron
watched.
James had to-
Dude, we watched this part before. Oh, it's so fucking annoying. Because YouTube doesn't save like the part of the video you're on. So I don't even know like how far into this I am.
But I would much rather, if corruption is inevitable, I would much rather have a more just and more equitable, a more democratic process that at the very least by its very design, like in the union structure, offers tangible benefits to the workplace, to the workers, rather than the corruption that we currently experience on a daily basis under the capitalist
That's the
corruption.
same thing I want.
Okay, which is why I said, but you're not
I
comfortable
also
with
think-
socialism with capitalist
I
characteristics.
also think that socialism, when you consider corruption and high-functioning sociopaths, there's a lot more risk when you centralize the power at the top. Let's say one party, for a dictatorship or tyranny.
No,
to
that
come out.
I actually don't agree with at all. I think that the democratic process in and of itself, whether it's a multi-party system or a single-party
Okay.
system or
Yeah, I'm
a
gonna
two-party
get
system
off
like we have, that
and,
yields like
pose mayonnaise.
results exclusively like the material.
Let me just save.